I'm AC Brown, and you're listening to Is My Aura On Straight, a podcast designed to help you start living from your core instead of your conditioning. Each week, we'll discuss topics ranging from human design, astrology, metaphysics, spiritual self-development, and everything in between. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Is My Aura On Straight. I am your host, AC Brown. I am your spiritual doula, intuitive strategist, psychic channel, and human design expert, and I'm also an entrepreneur. And I want to thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Is My Aura On Straight. And as you can see from the title, we're talking about manifesting generator starting 5 love picks. This is, of course, my favorite aura types for manifesting generators, just like astrology, where you have Pisces go with this person or Leos go with that person. It's the same thing, and I'm going to give you examples to why, but of course you really don't know unless you have a couples chart reading where you can put your two charts together and see the intricacies of your chart and the details with the lines, what gates are activated, what channels are activated, what centers are active, etc. So just think of it as that. Of course, some people are probably going to be upset with me, just like I'm sure they were with the last episode, but this is just my opinion and my belief based off of what I've seen, the charts that I've read, the research that I've done. So that's all I have to say about that. So let's get started. So my top pick for manifesting generators are manifesting generators, and that's it. That's the end of the podcast. Manifesting generators leave everyone alone and go about your business. Just be with each other. No, I'm just kidding. That was a little shade. So I'm going to try and be as, unbiased as possible. Unfortunately, manifesting generators have broken my heart several times, but that's okay. But I digress. But seriously, manifesting generators, my top choice for you, yes, is other manifesting generators. And that is for several reasons. Number one reason why I love manifesting generators with manifesting generators in general is just because manifesting generators have to, just like generators have to sample, but manifesting generators have to sample more. I like to say that they are, I don't want to say the whores of the aura type, but just like, astrology has their whores, so does, so does human design. And I would say the most sexually fluid or sexually free would be manifesting generators. And that is because before they get into relationships, manifesting generators need to try it out first. Especially, I wouldn't even say it's if it's the men or the women, it's a little bit of both. But of course, men get the bad rap because, men are more apt to sleeping around than women. But manifesting generators need to try it out first and see if they like it. So that sometimes involves just sleeping with people just to see if they like it. And sometimes once they're in it, they don't. Even though pure generators are like that as well, I don't see that as much with generators as I do with manifesting generators. So a manifesting generator will date you for a while, but until they sleep with you and see, let me see, is this going to work? Then they'll make their decision if they want to be in a relationship with you. And that can be problematic to other aura types. But the number one reason why I like manifesting generators together is because of their need for not needing you. That is something that when two people don't necessarily need each other, it works really well. And as I talked about it last time, generators need you. So, two manifesting generators are going to have a more cohesive time doing their own thing within the relationship. They're going to respect each other's privacy. They're going to respect each other's, leaving each other alone, etc. So that's, definitely one of the reasons why I love manifesting generators together. I also love them together because of the speed that they move at. Manifesting generators work fast. They do things fast. They multitask. And when two people are doing the same thing, it tends to not really get on each other's nerves that much. And when they skip steps or trying to find the fastest way to do stuff, it's a lot easier for the other party to understand. Now, and I didn't talk about this in the last episode, but in Human Design, Ra, he, that's the the person who downloaded all of this. There's teachings of him saying that he would prefer each aura type to be with each aura type. I don't necessarily agree with that, but when it comes to manifesting generators and another aura type, I'm not going to spoil it, I would agree. I would prefer manifesting generators to be with manifesting generators. I'm not saying that it can't work or anything like that, but it's just me, just what I see. I like manifesting generators with manifesting generators. So, of course, their speed, them respecting each other's privacy, they're able to keep up with each other. That is really important, because sometimes manifesting generators, as you probably have heard on this podcast or just in your own research, or if you're manifesting generators, sometimes you are in spirals or circles to nowhere, which is not a problem. That's just part of your experimentation. You're just in circles to nowhere, possibly, doing a lot of things, having multiple things going on. So it's really easy for another manifesting generator to understand that fake hustle of you just busy work is what a lot of manifesting generators do tend to have. So I don't have issues with that when it's just two manifesting generators together. And just successfully, I've seen manifesting generators and manifesting generators work out. They're able to create very, how can I put this? The way that they create within their relationship looks very scattered, but there's like a method to their madness. So that's why they work together. And it is a very intense relationship. When their anger and frustration happens, it can be a lot of headbutting and fighting and things like that. And just a lot of, miscommunication at times with two manifesting generators. But as I stated, they really do gel well together for so many reasons. And of course, their motives are pretty much the same, of being in power. They definitely can, they have that same speed. The issue that happens is that, and this is why manifesting generators and other aura types don't seem, I don't want to say that they don't seem to work. It's a little bit more. So how can I put this? Let me put this in this way. So manifesting generators can seem emotionally detached. And that is because they have to try things out first before they really know if they want to do it. So when you have two people who are emotionally detached to in some capacity, it is very easy for them to try each other out and walk away without feelings hurt. Other aura types might not experience that. That's why manifesting generators, I always say that they should be careful with other people's feelings. They can definitely be, woman eaters, man eaters. They can just really be, that type of person. And that is because they operate from a very emotionally detached place. Not because they are actually emotionally detached. It is because it is my belief and in my, just theories and me working with manifesting generators as clients, reading people, talking to them, etc. Manifesting generators don't typically slow down long enough to listen to their sacral centers. No matter if they already know that they're manifesting generators or they're not, they don't slow down enough to really listen to how they feel about it, what that feeling is. Is it truly a hell yes? Is it truly a hell no? What is that sacral internal feeling? So because they don't slow down long enough to feel that, is that by the time it hits them, they're already knee deep in something that they don't want to be in. So that is my experience with friends who are manifesting generators, with exes who are manifesting generators, and just manifesting generators that I've worked with. So that's why I just like them to be together. So less people get hurt, So and it's true. So less people get hurt, and it doesn't necessarily happen that much with women who are manifesting generators, and than it does with men. So I love manifesting. That's my number one. I love manifesting generators with manifesting generators. The second that which is a very rare combination, I actually do love manifesting generators with reflectors. Little bit hard to find, but I do love them with reflectors, and that's just for several reasons. And I talked about this in the last podcast, but reflectors, they can mirror, and energy is super important to them. So with reflectors, I know this might sound crazy, but because reflectors work off of their energy, and manifesting generators are high energy, doing a lot of things, it actually is very good for the reflector to see, and being a relationship that is very motivating. The only downside to it is that the manifesting generator is not as consistent as, say, a generator or or a projector. But we'll talk about that in another episode. But that's probably my second. I would say it's a tie between. Let's just say it's the second. That's my second. Manifesting generator and a reflector. It sounds very odd, but it can really work. And that is just because the reflector has that mirroring quality that I was telling you about. And they really can blossom with a manifesting generator, because the manifesting generator is constantly doing stuff, constantly experimenting with things, constantly trying things out, having several things going at one time. A reflector can see all of that together, and they are able to recognize energy, to pick that up. And reflectors also need their space. The manifesting generator is going to give you your space. And the manifesting generator is going to give you your space. Granted, this is a guaranteed. They are going to give you your space because they're busy. So the reflector has time to, get within themselves, reflect on their own energy, reflect on what's going on, and then they have that space. And when it's time for them to need you, then the manifesting generator can respect that, and they can be present at that time. So I just really love that, because even though they have this huge need for consistency with a manifesting generator, they're able to show the reflector how to operate their energy. Because reflectors sometimes, I wouldn't say sometimes, the environments that our reflectors are in really can make or break them. So if they're with someone who's high energy all the time, they will say, okay, well, this is what works for me. This is what doesn't work for me. I can move at this pace. I don't have to move at this pace. I think it's a good mirroring kind of relationship, especially if the manifesting generator is in there, spiraling all over the place, doing stuff, making progress. So I really, really love that together. That's my second favorite. My third favorite, of course, would be generators and manifesting generators. I talked about that a little bit on the first podcast. You can refer back to that. But like I said, the third would just be mostly because of the speed of them going to, able to really work hard, have the energy, all of that stuff. That would be my third favorite. And not, it's a tie. I'm not even gonna lie and say it's my third favorite. It's my third favorite, but then it's also a tie between manifestors, like I would say, so it's a tie. I would say 3 and 4 you can swap them out. It would be manifesting generators, and then manifesting generators, manifestors. And I'll explain why. So, as we know, a generator from the last podcast, they're going to need you. And a manifesting generator, you have to be okay with them not needing you because that's just part of their personality. The reason why it's a lot of headbutting when it comes to decisions, because a generator, like I said in the last podcast, are going to make decisions in order, and a manifesting generator is just going to be like, well, let's find a quicker way to do it. Why are you taking so long? All of that stuff. But I really like that just because they have the energy to deal with each other. Those defined sacral centers, it can be done. However, if I had to choose depending on the gender, I would say I really like manifestors with manifestor men with manifesting generator women. I would say that because a manifestor is going to tell you, what's happening next. They're going to inform you. And a manifesting generator, sometimes when it comes from more, it's just taken a little bit well. I really don't like, and even in same-sex relationships, I don't really mind either one. I like both. If whoever's the manifesting generator or manifestor, it works. It just really works with that informing kind of energy that the manifestor has. And then the manifesting generator, is you're informing them and then you're asking them at the same time. So I like that. If I had to, so I won't make it a tie. If I had to put one first, I would say I like manifestors with manifesting generators better than, I would say I like that better. And that's just because I like that better over generators and manifesting generators. So I would say manifestors and manifesting generators. And that is just because of the whole informing kind of thing that the manifestor has to do to inform them. And you have to respect their privacy. The same thing for a manifesting generator. You need to inform them and ask them, having to respect their privacy, leaving them alone. Then you also have the manifesting generator not needing you. So it's so many good things. The same thing with a manifesting generator. Don't ask them too many questions. Don't bog them down with the details. Same thing with a manifestor. Don't bog them down with the details. So that is probably a better combination than a generator and manifesting generator would be a manifestor and a generator. And so it's so many the same nuances that it's just kind of like they're almost the same person. However, the manifestor doesn't have that sacral energy that the manifesting generator does. So it's like the manifestor is going to say, this is what we need to get done. This is the vision. This is how we can execute it. This is the plan for our life, for our relationship, all of that. The manifesting generator is like, okay, this is how we're going to execute it. And I'm going to execute that part. So that's what I love. And because they both have these intricacies of manifestors are like, well, are you going to love me the way that I am? And then manifesting generators are like, can you be okay with the way that I do go about things, the way I'm fast about everything? That's how I like to do stuff. So, because really a lot about for the both of them being who they are in self-expression, because both of them have had issues in the past, and I've always seen, or in childhood when they weren't allowed to be themselves. Because you have the manifesting generator who wants to do all of the school activities. They want to be in band. They want to be a cheerleader. They want to be the president of the grade. And then you also have the manifestor who's like, this week I want to play the clarinet. Now I'm done with it. You know what? I'm ready to do something else. So they have this sort of subconscious, let's just go out and try everything and just inform people what's going to happen. And so I think they just on a day-to-day they work better. Now my least favorite, we'll get into that in a second, But so that's why I really like manifestors and manifesting generators. Then, generators and it's not a bad thing. So if I had to choose them as 4, I would choose them as 4, the 4th place, generators and manifesting generators. And you can listen to the first podcast to hear more in depth, in detail. But it's just mostly about the generator having that need for you and the generator being able to be themselves in that process of that long-term mastery. Manifesting generators sometimes get annoyed with that because they are able to move so fast, because they are able to do multiple things. So sometimes they look at generators like, come on, dude, like, what are you doing? Like, this is all you're doing and this is all you're focused on. Meanwhile, they have a yoga studio. They're also, getting their certificate in, meditation. Like they're just so all over the place. And then, the generator's just like, yeah, well, I'm just studying to be a doctor. And they're like, that's all. Like, not like that, but it can happen like that. So the manifesting generator is not bad, but it would probably be my 4th favorite for a manifesting generator. So you have manifesting generator. That would be first. Second would be reflector and manifesting generator. Third would be manifestor and manifesting generator. Fourth would be, of course, generator and manifesting generator. And of course, last but not least, the least favorite combination are manifesting generators and projectors. And if you'd like to hear why, here it go. And it's not the worst thing in the world. Like I said, I have a lot of experience with manifesting generators, both in love, life, and in business. And I'm going to do a business one and friendship one separately. I just wanted to hit love first, but I'll probably do all of that together. So the reason why I don't like manifesting generators and projectors in love is because manifesting generators just don't listen. And not all the time. I'm not saying that they don't listen. Sometimes it is challenging for the projector to feel recognized and valued with a manifesting generator. That is because you already have a person who can do multiple things at the same time, who can move faster, who has so many things going on, who's in these constant cycles of busy work. And then you have the projector who is like, well, why don't you slow down and ask me for my advice? Because the projector has a way of looking at the manifesting generator and saying, I see what's wrong. I see what's not working. I see why you are not making progress. The manifesting generator doesn't want to hear that. They're like, how dare you? How am I not making progress? I'm doing all of these things. I'm able to do all of this stuff at the same time. How dare you question my ability to function and work? And the projector's like, well, that's good that you're doing the things, but you're not actually getting results. It looks like you are, but here you are skipping a bunch of steps. Here you are skipping things and you're not doing the actual stuff. And then I see you going backwards and repeating stuff and fixing things. And the manifesting generator is just like, well, I know what I'm doing. Meanwhile, they're looking at the projector like, well, you don't have the energy for anything. It's like you have a person, like I said, it's not necessarily bad. It's just a lot of tweaks that have to happen. Nothing's bad or good in astrology and human design and anything. I mean, like I made a joke before, there's people who marry and love Geminis, and that's just an inside joke. For people who know me and stuff like that. I love Geminis. Like I said last time, my first was a Gemini. Great relationship, all of that stuff. But anything can work. It's just about tweaking it and seeing the intricacies of your charts, all of that stuff, but just an overall aura. Projectors and manifesting generators, they have a lot of tweaks to make to be successful. There becomes a lot of resentment in these relationships, especially in business, which I'll talk about in another podcast about business and friendship and stuff. But in love, you have this person who, as a manifesting generator, you know, you can't take it personal that they don't need you. They're going to have points where they don't need you. A projector needs to be recognized and they need to be needed. That is the function of us, to be respected and needed, and to have someone who's going to look to us for advice, for our value, for our wisdom, for our insight. So if you don't have a person who's going to do that, the projector feels very unseen in a manifesting generator relationship unless they communicate, hey, I need you to recognize these things. I need you to recognize what I'm doing, what I'm contributing to your life, our family, etc. And of course, it can work. Like I said, anything can work. But the core of it, the overall, it's very challenging, because what happens, and I see it all the time, and this has happened to me, in the midst of it, the manifesting generator, just like in their life, they are taking shortcuts. They're taking shortcuts to things. And if you listen to my other podcast, when I think it was the Manifesting Generator Not Self podcast, how I talk about, you know, they're taking shortcuts. And then when they get to this particular point, they're like, oh, I made mistakes. Oh, I should have did this. Oh, I should have did that, etc. And so it becomes an issue of, oh, you were right. Oh, I should have listened to you. Oh, I made that mistake with communicating with you. And after a few times, the projector's like, I don't want to hear that. Because projectors are very sensitive, especially when, we are not seen or heard. And when our advice or our opinions or our thoughts or the wisdom that we have for you is overlooked. So being in a manifesting generator relationship, that can happen more frequently than not. Trust me, it can. And whoever's listening, like, oh, it doesn't happen in my relationship. Either you guys have communicated it or you're ignoring it, because I see it happen every day, all the time, whether it's same-sex relationships, whether it's heterosexual relationships. I see it happen all the time with projectors and manifesting generators. I even see it when I work with teams, and I come in and I see how their roles happens all the time. And so that is very challenging. So for manifesting generators, if you are in a relationship with a projector, make sure you are including them. Make sure you are looking to them for their wisdom, for their insight, for what they have to offer you. I'm telling you, they can see what's going on better than you can, especially because you are not paying attention, because you are in the throes of whatever you're doing. You're able to move fast. You're able to get things done. Or like I said, pretend to get things done because you're just busy. A projector's looking at you like, yeah, you should have did this. And if you're not asking them, they might be a little bit hesitant to tell you. Or if you do ask them, or if they do tell you and you're ignoring that, they're going to be less likely to give you advice or jump in without you asking again, because that's hurtful. So can it work? Absolutely. But that's why it's my least favorite. Not just me being a projector, but just what I've seen. And it's just a lot of stuff that can happen. It's a long journey with understanding each other and trying to make it work. It happens in friendships, and it also happens in business. And I'll get into that, like I said, in another podcast, because it's really important for the auras to learn how to work in those settings as well. But I always talk about love first, because, that's what people want to hear. But so that would be my least favorite for those reasons. And like I said, if you're in a relationship with a projector and you're a manifesting generator, just seek help. And what I mean by seek help from them, seek advice from them. If you have a working relationship, or if you have a coach, I love my manifesting generator clients because, they hire me for my, my psychic insight, all of that stuff and whatever, but they know how to reach out. And when they do, like clockwork, it's like, oh, wow, you were right. I hear that's if I hear anything from any of the aura types when I'm working with them, whether it's on a business strategy, life coaching, or just in, doing an intuitive reading or something, it never fails. Like, they'll come back to me months later, weeks later. You know what, AC, you were right. I should have listened to you the first time. And that happens. That happens in past relationships. Like, you know what? We should have never broke. Well, but we did. But that's besides the point. So that's my least favorite. So if you want to get a chart reading done, click the link in the bio in my Instagram, or click the link in the show notes. But the next episode, of course, will be projectors. And then after I do the 5 episodes for each aura type, I'm going to do the profiles of my favorite profiles. And then I'm going to just do a whole episode on my favorite for business and just working relationships, like just business, friendships, platonic stuff, because that's super important as well. I'm not going to break that up. I'm just going to do that all together. So as always, thank you so much for listening. If you loved this episode and if you loved the podcast, please, please, please like and leave a comment. If you have any questions, you can always shoot me a DM, or you can email me. And if you would love for me to come speak at an event or in a mastermind that you have or anything like that, or your podcast, please don't be afraid to reach out, and I can, talk about all of this stuff. But until next time, I hope you have a great day filled with good vibes and great energy. Thank you for listening to another episode of Is My Aura on Straight? Make sure you follow me on Instagram at AC Brown, and also check out my website for products and services at www.acbrown.com. And until we meet again, make sure you have a great week filled with good vibes and good energy.